All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Defying All Odds Podcast with your host, Jesse, my co-host.
Rafa, you as always.
And guys, today we got a special episode coming to you live here at Columbia University. We have my roommate from the engineering school, majoring in computer science, a senior, hopefully going into the corporate world. Please welcome Diego Rivas Lazala.
De lo mío.
Yo, how's it going, my Dominican brother? How's it going? So,
how you feeling today? Let's just start with that. How you feeling?
Yeah.
I woke up nice and early. It's the sun's not out, but
there you go.
it's still nice out.
A little chilly out, you know. Well, that's why you got the beanie, right?
I need to cut. Nothing much up here to cut.
Damn, that's tough. That's tough.
But obviously, you know, the people don't really know who you are, what your background is. So why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself, like where you came from. I know that you came to the U.S. for the first time in 2009, so kind of just get into that story.
Yeah, I was born in Santo Domingo, the capital of Dominican Republic. I came 2009. My mom was like pregnant, 8 months pregnant. I don't know how they let her on the plane. I came with my twin sister. December 29, 2009. Super cold. We went to some part of the Bronx, I forget, but some hilly part.
Gotta be like Gun Hill.
Probably. Wherever they got a hospital nearby. Because I remember there was like a hospital on a hill, and then
Probably Jacoby? No.
Somewhere, I forget exactly. But yeah, came to the Bronx, bounced around a couple places. I lived by Fordham, I think, first like a year or two, and then I moved to between 173rd and 174th. What used to be behind the Bronx, Lebanon.
Okay.
And yeah, lived there for like 5 years or so for like Catholic school, from like 5th grade to 7th grade. Then I moved to Elmwood Park, New Jersey.
Okay. I want to go back real quick. You have a twin?
People don't ask. So
wow.
like, everybody's surprised. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, it's not like she's like with you, like 24/7 to ask.
What's
that's
crazy? I've been living with him for a little over a few months now, and I actually did not know that. So
People don't ask. You have siblings?
I mean,
we knew.
People ask about siblings, but people don't just go out and be like, "Yo, you got a twin?"
That's what I'm saying. Like, I knew you had a sibling. I didn't know you had a twin though.
No, so I mean, I treat it like as a sibling because, I mean, for a majority, like a lot of our classes, we were together. So like we were studying, doing homework together. But when we got to Elmwood Park, we went to different high schools. So it's pretty much just like siblings.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys weren't like bunched together like
fraternity. We were like hip and hip for like a grip. I'm not since we got here to like when I told you like 7th grade, or like up until we did 8th grade. We were in the same middle school in Elmwood Park. Okay. But even then in Elmwood Park, like, we split up because we just had different friend groups. We had different classes.
Got you. And I think it's a little bit different because like you guys, I mean, you said she's your sister. Yep. So I think it's different too when like it's the same gender. Because, you know, if you're the same gender, it's exactly different dynamic. Yeah, is identical or fraternal?
Fraternal.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
It was identical if she'd be a boy.
No, but you can be identical with different genders.
That's true. Yeah, that exists.
No, for real. To be identical, you don't have to be the same gender. I mean, it helps.
That's interesting.
It helps, but it's a interesting thing to see. Let's put it that way.
So, besides you having a sibling, you came here, you're born in DR. So you're over there for, 5-6 years of your life. What's that like when you come here and you said you were learning English for the first time, but you're listening to SpongeBob SquarePants, 50 Cent? Like, what's that American media like when you get here?
I don't remember too much of it, to be honest. I just remember those key pieces because that's like what comes to mind. But yeah, like I had the old iPod, the brick one with the metal back.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I used to listen to, I don't know what type of music. I think it was just a lot of rap. And then like I told you, like, I didn't know how to be outside in New York, so we just be at home. Your mom is like, "Yo, don't go outside. Right? You don't know what's going on. Stay at home, watch
you guys stay at home."
So I never bothered. I mean, to this day, you can ask Jesse. Like, I'm a homebody. I only go out until like somebody's like, "Yo, let's really go somewhere." Or I'm like, "Okay, I'll try something for the first time. I'll try something once for anything. Like, I don't care, just to see what it's like."
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, even growing up, like I was just a homebody because that's how I was raised here. But like in the DR, obviously, you around 24/7. I have a distinct memory, like I was running around. Like we was running around, and there was some like event on the street. I remember I just fell into a rose bush, and I just had thorns over my hands.
My God.
I went home and I was like, "Mommy, like." I remember my hands hurting like crazy. That's the difference. Like it's just a different upbringing compared to like, here. You know?
You hear you get all 4 seasons. Cold, the cold of the cold and the hot of the hot.
Yeah. And I mean, not even just that, but like you said, living in a tropical island and not to say I wouldn't consider DR third world by any means, but it's not as developed as the U.S., right?
Right, exactly.
And just like how, norms and culture, how everybody is just their upbringing is it's not in day. Like you said, there's more liberty. I think that's the best way to put it. From just living there in general.
That cultural difference is something that I realized. Like I've been to Spain, Madrid, Sevilla. I've been to a couple places. I think I went to Cancun once, but I've been to different places in the United States, and that difference in culture, like it defines a place. Like in DR, it's so communal. Like everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So if you're hungry, you can just go to your neighbor's house and be like, "Yo, I'm hungry. My mom's not home. Is there something to eat or whatever?" Here, what are you doing? I'm gonna call the cops on you.
Yeah.
Mom, buddy.
Like, get off my property.
And that's like. I wish it was like that. I mean, obviously, if you lived in a community for such a long time, like if you live in one place, Elmwood Park, okay.
Eventually it
your
grows.
family knows, yes.
Exactly.
But that's like, you have to work towards that. In DR, that's like an automatic, like, that's my neighbor. Okay, cool.
So, I mean, you bring a good point. Would you say that when you get here and you're living and moving around in different places, would you say that the Dominican communities there, they differ a lot from DR, of course, but would you say that kind of helped you, I guess, get more assimilated into American culture when you get here?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember going to, I just went back to Jersey like last Monday, and I was just taking public transport because that's like the easiest thing for me. I went to Washington Heights, and I'm like, damn, bro, this is DR. Like,
right,
It's the same,
switch from like Morningside Heights, whatever they call, pretty much of Harlem.
To Heights, it's
this is DR.
No, for real. I mean,
the music, the vibes, the culture, everything's there.
No. I mean, coming from, like, I lived there for 10 years straight in my whole childhood, so, and I'm always there. Going through those blocks in the Heights, they really do feel like it's DR, but you don't get no beach, you don't get the sun, you get all the DR, but none of the good stuff. Basically.
That's the bad part.
And
for me also, imagine growing up or like coming to the US without that. Like not having that community.
Yeah.
Just being thrown into Iowa or Idaho.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
impossible.
It's very, you have to kind of have an open mind when you get here with that. I'd say that, like, for myself, growing up in the East Side, you don't really see many of our people, so it's like a little bit different in that sense. But I do remember the weekends when I'd go to the Heights or I'd go to some of the Dominican neighborhoods, and it absolutely, you just feels just like DR, like the music, the vibes, the people. And even the food there too, like there's a lot of Dominican brands that you won't find anywhere else in New York City unless you're in those Dominican neighborhoods and those Dominican spots. Yeah, and you'll be like, oh, I miss helado de bon, or I miss Haria milk, right? And you can get it there. So
every time I go to DR, I always get bon. Like every time, you gotta do is get your bon.
We already ate. I don't care.
I don't care. It's the frozen yogurt for me. It's the frozen yogurt for me.
Yeah. I don't care.
All right. Here's a real question. What's your favorite flavor though from the ice cream there?
I mean,
helado de bon.
I
gotta go with fresa. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I just always get my typical like mixed berries, mango, chinola.
He's a yogurt.
I've always liked the frozen yogurt from Bon. That thing is different.
I think for me it's too watery, but I've always been a chocolate guy. My sister's been vanilla, which is funny because she's like more pale and I'm darker.
Okay.
But yeah, helado bon, so good. It's just the milk is different.
Yeah, bro. Everything is different. Everything is real. Yeah. Everything tastes real.
So now you live in New Jersey, and then you come over here to Columbia. What's that been switch like, and how do you get into computer science in that realm of engineering?
Yeah, I mean, I went to I guess what some people might call a charter, like technical high school in Jersey. It was part of like this bigger system, Bergen Tech, if people know Bergen Tech. It's like this, oh my God, everybody wants to get in.
Okay.
It's pretty much like a feeder public school.
Okay.
For like Ivies and stuff like that. So I did their newer school that was at the community college for the Bergen County area. They were doing like engineering stuff, so they taught us a lot of stuff about little circuits, a lot of different stuff. Like we made a metal block, like we took a metal block of, I forget what it was, I think aluminium or something. And you see those big machines, like you drill press, we did all that to design it into like a cube of specific dimensions. So nerdy so it was almost kind of natural for me to do something engineering related at Columbia. So like I said, I applied, I think regular decision, and when I got my decision, I had my little brother in my lap because I was just like opening it. I was just like, I'm not gonna get into this shit. The screen went black and I was like, oh shit, I actually did it. Oh my God. But nah, that was that. I came in electrical engineering because I thought, I like circuits, it's just fun. I took my electrical engineering intro class and the lab, and I was like, yeah, I'm really vibing with it.
It's not your thing.
Yeah, and then I chatted with some older dude. He went through I think he studied computer science. He went to the job market, or I think he did a startup. At some point, he came back. So he was in his 30-something studying electrical engineering at Columbia. So I was like, okay, bet. He kind of went through that path. What should I do? Electrical engineering or computer science? He was like, bro, just do computer science. And I was like,
that's it. That's all you needed. And then from there, you just went all the way.
I would definitely
went full send.
Yeah.
There's definitely a pattern. I feel like when it comes to the electrical engineering to computer science route, we've had a few people on here that are in the engineering school, and they've kind of gone down that path of they started with electrical engineering, switched out to computer science. Would you say that it's more so just the material, or is it just like the drive is like you kind of lose it as you kind of progress through that coursework?
No, I think for me, it's a little bit of both. The material was definitely a little bit more intense. Like they're assuming a higher level of calculus. I had taken like calculus 2, but my fundamentals were not good. So like, you know what? Let me just start from calculus 1 and just go from there. Right. I had a really good calculus 1 teacher, but by the time that I was taking intro to electrical engineering, I needed calculus 2 understanding.
Right.
So I was just like, it felt misplaced. And the labs were like 3 hours for so long, and I'm just like, why am I doing this?
Now you know how us bio majors feel, having to take 4-hour labs.
No, I see at NAB, they wouldn't do anything. The whole time, I'm plugging stuff in. I'm over here looking like a nerd, making sure everything. And at the end, they would be like, oh yeah, so like, are we done? And I'm like, dude, obviously we're done, bro. Like I got the measurements. Let's just go write the lab. And I'm just like,
for those who don't know, this man be tweaking in his room when like he's doing his group work. Like he be going through it.
It's hard to organize people. People are lazy. They have priorities different ways.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I never liked doing group projects in general. I mean, I wouldn't say I was a student that didn't do work.
Yeah.
Like I'd get the work. Like if I had to get it done, if I had to get my part done, I'm gonna get it done. But I'd definitely be one of those students who'd be like, listen, man, if you can like just, you know what I mean? Like, help a brother out, right? Yeah. But group projects can be hard, especially if you don't know how to work with them, or they don't know how to work well with others.
I agree,
But I think it's also a good learning experience because when you go into the real world, you got people that you've never met in your life, and you don't know how they work.
You don't know what they're going through.
Exactly.
One week they can go crazy, work super hard, but like their relatives just died or something. Like you never know.
And they just don't care.
That's what I try to like get to when I'm like setting up group meetings or whatever. I'm just like, so what time works best for you guys? Okay, I see this person usually hands in the assignment 20 minutes before it's due. This person probably has a lot to do, so I'm not gonna do an hour-long meeting. 30-minute meeting, let's sync up. Okay, you need to do this. Delegate. Okay, this person, he submits stuff a little bit close to the deadline, but he gets it done. He does it right. I'm gonna trust he's gonna get it done. You know what I mean? It's hard to trust somebody with like a big portion of your assignment. You know?
Right.
So it's more so where like a group assignment becomes more of like an individual project, because then now you're thinking.
That's the worst part, honestly.
Yeah. Well, because now you're thinking about, okay, well, I got to get my work done. I finished my work. Now it's like I'm left in limbo to wait on the other person.
Yeah.
That's where having a good professor comes in, because sometimes I've had experiences where the group work's just not working out. Everyone's kind of done their part, and you're waiting on like the last 1 or 2 people to do their work, and they don't get it done. And then what kind of ends up happening is like, okay, you guys still get graded as a group.
Yeah.
Either you get graded as a group, and then those 2 people, obviously their grades suffer.
Yeah.
Or everyone just gets graded individually. And of course, the ones that didn't do the work, they suffer as well. So it really just depends. I think it's professor dependent, but like you said, group work is really dependent on the environment you're in and the people you're working with, because you never know how they work, like you said, or like where they come from when it comes to how they operate and how they attack the material. Because that I feel like is very important when you're engaging in that kind of content.
Absolutely. I think also people say engineers are not good people. Like they're not person people.
Person people's people.
No. People pleasers. I think
people pleasers.
These guys do not communicate, bro. Literally, I'm thinking about a project for deep learning, which is just like using machine learning models to like figure out if a picture should get this color or that color. It's a big assignment, right? It's due tomorrow. I haven't even started it. And I have these 2 other group mates. I'm like, the chat's a little quiet. And then I wake up this morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh yeah, we finished this part. And I'm like, bro, why aren't you guys saying that you're working on it so I can be up to date? To not to read all their stuff, make sure it's all correct. And they're moving on to a different part. You know what I mean? Like they have deprioritized that task. Yeah. And I'm prioritizing that. So I'm like, oh my goodness, man. I have to do this whole part of myself, the remainder. But that's just how group work is. You have to be able to read people and just figure out where people are at.
And that's the toughest part. What would you say is like if you had to look back, since you're also about to graduate from Columbia, what would you say is the hardest experience that you went through here and how you overcame it?
The hardest experience? I mean, I think it's probably outside of the classroom. I still struggle with procrastination because it's so easy to leave something last minute.
Facts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it was really bad. I think like my sophomore spring or something like that. So maybe 2 years ago, I was like, okay, maybe I need to go get some help, to go talk to somebody. So I went to go talk to somebody, what was it? It was a therapist at first, and then that wasn't going anywhere. I'm like, okay, this is not working. And then she directed me to some group called Getting Things Done. So if you're in Colombia, if you need people to yap about your procrastination with, that's an awesome group where people are just talking about, this is the task that I need to get done, I'm not achieving it, and we kind of take it as a group and we kind of try to digest what the problems are.
Really?
And for the majority of the time, it just comes down to your mentality. Like if you're not avoiding a task, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yep,
And if it's a task that you are avoiding and you have to get it done, you have to hack your brain. Whether it be like change your environment.
Yes.
I do Pomodoro timers, so I literally just set an hour where I'm just going to do this one task. It doesn't matter if I do it in a manner, if I excel at it, if I need help, just take an hour, sit down at the computer and just go do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And some people need that. I need that. So whenever Jesse's like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm working on homework. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm being an
No,
I have time to lock in to get this out of the way, because if I don't do it now, it's gonna suck.
That's one thing too, is like, it's also good to like knock things out earlier.
Yeah.
And so sometimes if I don't really have anything else to like going on, especially now as a second semester senior, then it's just a lot easier for me. Okay, well, I can just knock out these 2 discussion posts and now I'm 2 weeks ahead.
I wish I was like that.
Or like
there's deep value in being bored.
Yeah.
You need to have time where you're just like, be bored, because you could do, oh, hey, I want to go start a podcast. Let me go look into that.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about constantly assignments, projects, oh, this dude didn't hit me back for the project for this part. You don't have
It's the
time to
worst
be bored.
part.
You're always thinking about this one assignment that you have to do.
Nah, that's for real. For
So
real.
doing that.
Yeah, no, for real. It's it's good to have moments to de-stress, to reset your mind, because like you said, it's so easy to get yourself and overwhelm your mind with all these tasks that you have on your plate, and you're like, oh my God, how am I gonna get it done? When you literally just need to take a day off. You take a day off, reset, clear your mind, and then through that you can sometimes open your mind even more. Because you see things in a different angle now, because you're looking at it from the outside in versus inside out.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
That's one thing I learned as well, just to add on to that. I literally, my Saturdays, that's why I went to Bacchanal yesterday. Like my Saturdays are just do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that came from the idea that you need to have non-negotiables. So from this time to this time, I'm not going to be doing anything, but I want to go do something that I like.
Right.
If like Spider-Man, I'm going to play Spider-Man for 3 hours.
Yeah, bro. Care. Yeah, it's a fact.
But I know throughout the week, I'm going to bust because I really want to go play Spider-Man.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? And you need to have that, because if you don't, you're going to go insane. Like, you're going to go bonkers.
Honestly, I always think back to what are ways that you can kind of manipulate the mind to not just be content, but at the same time also be aware. Because if your mind is like you said, you have a lingering assignment, you have a phone call you got to make, whether that's a relative, a friend, whether that's on a project or whatever it may be. Yeah. And you have things you have to do, and that's lingering in the back of your mind. The other things that you want to work on, right? Whether that's this nice podcast that we have with you guys, or you have a special project, or you want to go to church, you want to hang with your friend. You can't necessarily enjoy the moment because you have these lingering thoughts on your head. You have to really manipulate your mind to be like, okay, what's going on? Yeah. Where am I?
Where are you? Yeah.
Because if I'm here and present, I'm present with you guys. Yeah. If I'm in the library, I'm present with my work. If I'm at home, I'm present with what? With your hygiene, with your food.
Be present with the now, with
exactly.
the today. Yeah.
Because if you're not present, then either work's not going to get done, right?
Life passes by you quickly. The
last thing you want is when you graduate, and Rafael, I know you can attest to this as a graduate now for the last 2-3 years now, is you don't want to think back and say, oh, I wish I did more. I wish I did this. I wish I would have said yes to that friend who invited me to this event. Yeah. Because I was just procrastinating this work so long that I didn't have time. And then when I had to get it done, I didn't have time for the other things that I needed to do. So time management is very important, no matter what industry you go into.
But I'll give you a caveat. That regret is also healthy to have.
Oh, absolutely. To a certain extent, yes.
You're like, okay, I know that this behavior had led to this. Had I changed my behavior, it would have led to something else.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, no, you learn from mistakes. You learn from your experiences. and you get to use those experiences to piggyback on your next endeavors and stuff like that. So like I said, it's just enjoying the now, enjoying the day. That's why yesterday, as of this recording, we decided to partake in what these people call
Bacchanal.
No, yo no sé, no.
Bacchanal.
I don't know what that means. How about you tell the people what the heck that means? Because I don't even know what that means.
So, from my understanding, it's derived from, I believe, Latin or Greek for like theater, and basically it's a day at a Columbia University. It's a Columbia tradition for us Lions that every Saturday, once a year on a Saturday in April, we have a ton of artists that come onto campus, and it's like a concert day. And you have many different festivities going on, different parties. People are hanging out with their friends.
It's a day to get lit.
And
let's just put it
It's
simple.
an excuse for us to call ourselves a state school.
Yeah, yes.
That is how you can put it.
It's the one day where Columbia pretends to be a state school. Let's put it that way.
Just to no sugarcoat, bro. It's a day for all these kids and this campus to go crazy.
So
I was able to participate for the first time yesterday. I remember Jesse had mentioned it to me last year, talking about we're gonna turn up from 10 a.m. till the night till the sun goes down. I'm like, what? Why am I gonna wake up 9 a.m. to go party? To me that just didn't compute in my brain. But since being in this campus for the months that I've been here doing this, I was like, you know what? Fine, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. And I will say, at least me, not from the school, was definitely a cool experience to say the least.
Let's just say he had the time of his life. I will say, it's definitely nice where we had a nice group going on. So for those of you watching, Diego is my roommate, Rafael is my co-host for my podcast, and behind the scenes, behind the camera, we have my friend Luis, and so as a producer. So we kind of just all spent a good day together, and we had a great time. And I think that it's
Louis, stand up.
Yes,
show the people.
Actually, yeah. Why
if you're gonna do it right.
Yes,
say hi to the people.
This is Louis, our co-host. I'm sorry, our producer.
Everybody knows. Yeah, just say what's up, Louis.
Editing in the background. There you go. This is the GOAT editor right here. All right, so he's always behind the scenes helping us out. And honestly, this project wouldn't be where it's at if it's not for the hard work that we all put in, especially Luis.
But yesterday we had a great time though. We had a great time. Diego had a blast. He was out of sleep at 5 p.m. Let's just put it that way. No, for real.
All you can hear is like the whole time.
I mean, if we're being honest, Jesse doesn't remember anything that.
No,
Jesse does. Literally, he doesn't remember who he talked to.
The group, this guy's cousin.
Bro, no, I do. You just literally, the day was such a blur because of the rain. I'll never forget.
Right. The rain, yes.
No. And I wiped my
right. Exactly.
It was a little bit of a blur because of rain, but what I will say is, I honestly remember, I don't understand why this happened, but the headliner for our event was Tinashe, and she ended her performance that I believe was around 4:30, which I believe it was supposed to go until 5. So I was a little bit, I'm assuming, I guess, had to do with rain and inclement weather that day.
Lancey canceled.
Yes, Lancey did cancel as well. So it's a lot of technical difficulties throughout the day, but we had a good time nonetheless.
She played her one good hit song. Everybody was like,
so the problem is we couldn't hear from where we were.
And that was another thing too.
Because we were on the lawns, and so the speakers weren't the best from that distance.
They should do a better job. Period. But hey, it was cool nonetheless to experience all the festivities that were going on yesterday.
Yes,
I made the most of it. That's for sure.
We all.
I definitely did. I had a good time.
But now moving on, we have about 4 or 5 weeks left, Diego. 4 weeks left of.
I'm not even counting, bro. I was thinking about getting the next day down.
Exactly. Day by day.
Day by day.
Exactly, because we only have really a month plus counting.
Yeah, a month
and it's amazing to see how far we've been and how far we've come. Yeah. But at the same time, my saying's always this: don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Right. Because at the end of the day, if we pout that things are over, then you won't be able to enjoy what's next. And
you better not cry graduation then, bro.
Toma.
See, what they don't understand is you got to take in the moment. So let's.
Hugging his mom.
You got to take in the moment.
No. Of course. I remember.
Did you cry during high school graduation?
No, I didn't cry.
I never cried.
I had a high school speech. I had a high school speech. If you guys are interested, you guys can go check that on my Instagram. But it was I'm serious. I'll never forget. It was a good speech, and it was also raining that day too. So,
so you don't remember too much because of the rain.
No,
it was too blurry.
I remember it vividly. I forget I quoted Winston Churchill in my speech.
You was cooking.
I definitely was.
Churchill.
So it was a good time. But now moving on, now we got another graduation to think about, and then hopefully in a few years from now, then got med school and masters. So it's a lot, but we all enjoy
in
the
due
moment.
in due time for sure.
But
I remember my graduation for when I graduated in City College.
right.
It was pretty quick. I remember. I mean, I was super excited, waiting in line, whatever, waiting my turn to get the diploma, shaking somebody's hand that I've never met before in my life, but I'm so grateful that he shook my hand, I guess. Okay, cool, guys. I don't know what's wrong, bro. But we're just gonna keep on rolling as always. Yeah. So, like I was saying, when I graduated, it was very quick. I enjoyed the moment. It was a good time. Shake somebody's hand that I don't remember, but it is what it is. But I do remember, what I enjoyed the most was honestly the build-up of it all. Because, again, once you walk that stage and you get off the stage, it's basically done. Yeah. That's it. It's really it. Yeah, sure, you'll stay a little bit longer to hear other speeches and you turn the tassel, whatever. Yeah. But honestly, what I remember the most was just, being around those who were graduating alongside me who I knew. Yeah. And just taking the moment in, just yo, in a few hours, we're going to be here and be officially done with it, And so, but yeah, that's probably the best thing I can remember just of the graduation in general. And just, of course, being surrounded by the people that there to support me. So, absolutely. So yeah, definitely enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it while it lasts, because you're going to blink and it's going to be gone.
So I remember my high school graduation was like this, bro. These 4 years.
I think I always think back. It's also because of COVID as well. I argue that our perception of time has changed a lot since then, simply because we feel like time just moves by so much quicker, and I think that's a kind of a result of the time we lost while we were back home during the COVID days. So I would say it's definitely because of that. But like you said, you blink and literally it's over. Like tomorrow, it might be graduation already. So you gotta enjoy the moment, literally every day. So, for those of you guys watching, I would definitely say, if you're whether you're in your undergraduate years or you're going off to masters or wherever you're at in life, always be sure to enjoy it to the most, because you never know when that might be your last time with those people. It's actually funny that I actually ran into someone from my high school for the first time since graduation yesterday. They were he was on our campus, and it was you're so starstruck to see, because you haven't seen someone in 4 or 5 years. It's wow, it's crazy.
I remember I ran into my elementary school best friend on the train years ago when I was in high school. It was a random day. I came out of school just doing my regular routine to go home. Yeah. I'm on 125th waiting for the 6th, and it's a super packed because everybody's coming out of school. So I kid you not, the train pulls up, right? I stop and I'm in front of the door. My friend, who I recognize, was in front of the door inside the cart. That's crazy. So literally, he pulls up, and we lock eyes right there, and we both what? Literally, we both got taken aback. Yeah. He comes out the train station, the train cart, and obviously he's oh my God, Mr. Long, what's up? And I remember he tells me, yo, bro, you're not gonna get on the train? No, bro, I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you in 6 years. I can wait for another one. So I felt, New York is it's very funny. Because there's so many people in this city, millions, and yet you still find ways to find people that you recognize and stuff, and then yet you could still say oh my God, what a small world,
so many characters.
I mean, so many characters, so many.
I'll never forget. Every time I would say leaving work from when Rafael and I used to work at Gap, the good old days. We
good. I don't know.
Good. Like Rafa says, the Gappy days. I'll never forget. I would run into someone I recognized pretty frequently in that area, because I guess we were in school. And similarly, I ran into an elementary school friend. Literally, I was a closing shift, and it was I was right on 3rd Avenue and 74th. And I see him, and we're oh wow, this is the first time since we see each other since the 5th grade. Yeah. And I'm about to graduate high school at the time. And so it's really small world that we live in when you run into.
Okay, guys, hi again. Life throws you, when life gives you lemons, you make a podcast. You make a podcast. I'm gonna say you pick out Jesse.
And lemonade.
But anyways, Yeah, bro. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore, bro.
But, so
Gotcha.
it's funny because I'll tell the viewers how I met Diego.
Oh yeah, tell them about that.
Similar to how I met Alan, actually. I met Diego through Alan. So if you guys haven't seen that episode, go check that out. But I met Diego in Gen Chem 1, and I'll never forget it. It was me, Diego, and Alan, and we're catching up right after class. And this is probably maybe about the second week of classes. So it's probably like the 4th lecture we're in so far. And we're just talking about like how we're going to study for the first midterm. And sure enough, we became friends right there. And that's kind of how we kind of started off everything, just studying for Gen Chem 1, learning about atoms and what else were we learning about back then? P orbitals.
Balancing equations.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned previously in other episodes, the engineering curriculum here requires the engineering students to take Gen Chem 1 as a first semester freshman. So half the class was either pre-med or the other half the class was engineering, and there was like no in between. And I would say maybe about like after the first midterm, you definitely saw a lot of people started dropping the class, people that realized they didn't want to do pre-med, or some people that wanted to transfer out of the engineering school and go into CC, so they wanted to get out of that credit. Yeah. So it's definitely an intense course, to say the least, to when you first get out of high school, and this is like the first intensive college course you're taking.
Absolutely.
But Diego, what was like your favorite memory from the class, if you could remember?
Honestly.
What's your favorite memory of Jesse?
Bro, I honestly don't remember meeting Jesse. Like, I feel like there was like
I had a reminder.
I just have a really bad memory.
Oh, it was raining too? It was raining that day.
So he doesn't have amnesia from yesterday, but he has amnesia from how he met me.
No, but like stuff like that happened such a long time ago. Like if there's not a big indicator as to what occurred, like my memory's
if it's not a canon event, it's not important.
It was a canon. It was definitely a canon event, but
maybe in your eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think I remember there was a point like I have Dominican spidey senses, bro. When I see somebody who's Dominican, I'm like, okay. And we both would look at each other, we pause, and I'm like, you're Dominican? Okay.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
So exactly. Maybe it was that moment, but he's not Dominican. So that's why I remember that distinctive moment there.
For context, yes, I am. It's just,
he's our Dominican gringo.
And
yes, right?
He has a DR card.
Yes.
That's crazy.
We let him slide.
But not joking at the same time.
I've been to DR more than both of them, but okay.
What did he say?
Huh?
Who's from more time?
He was born there.
Okay,
I got houses over there.
He swears that he's more Dominican.
Like he wants to be Dominican.
What do you mean? I want? It's in my DNA.
It's fine. You can cosplay.
Them questioning my Dominican heritage just beyond hilarious. But hey,
Gen Chem best memory.
Yeah.
Honestly, it just made me like, can we say nut up? Like it made me nut up. Like make sure you go to office hours. Make sure you understand the material, because if you don't understand it, nobody's gonna understand it for you.
I'll never forget. I think we had the Chem 101 homeworks. And like we were talking about how trying to knock those out early on.
Yeah.
And that by far I was like why are we doing this? Like those homeworks were something else. It was a platform that we used for homework and separate from coursework.
Yeah, it was like
and you had to sign
like Wiley Plus or something like that?
Similar, but it was like Chem 101, so it was like a subscription based homework.
You have a certain amount of attempts. Gosh, I hate
3 attempts, yeah.
I hate that.
When I actually Diego, because you also dorm with this man. What has your life been like dorming and living with Jesse?
Since
honestly,
September.
Let him answer.
Honestly, he's brought me out of my shell a little bit more, but like nothing's changed. He knows I have my healthy boundaries. When I'm doing my work, leave me alone.
Yeah,
I'm just locked in, and I feel like that's super healthy. But obviously, it gets to a point where it's just like we're not talking at all. That's weird. You say good morning, say what's up. Okay, cool. Yeah. You use the bathroom. Okay, cool. You can use the bathroom when I'm done or whatever. Like, be cordial. Don't be on some complete like stranger silent stuff. Right. It's just easy to do. But then somebody that's like Jesse's, that's an extrovert, gonna call you. I was like, bro, you're acting weird. We're roommates. It's like a weird relationship. What's going on here? You know? Yeah. And it's easy for me to like just be an introvert, not care, because like that's how I grew up. That's how I continue to do. That's how I've succeeded somewhat, if you could define what I've done as success. Okay. But that's just how I function.
Would you say you've it's been better to experience these things with him, or not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always a good person. It's always good to have somebody that's almost completely opposite to you. Where it's like, again, he's more of an extrovert, I'm more of an introvert. But I'm an introvert flip. You know what I mean? Like I can be an extrovert, like in a meeting or something, like, well, we need to get stuff done, get it out of the way. Yeah, okay, I can do that. But like if I'm left to my own devices, like I'll be an introvert, I'll chill. I can go weeks without like talking to family, which is not good. Like it's good to check in with your mom, say, hey, how you doing? This and that and third.
He could hear my phone calls every morning when I'm on the phone with mom.
Also, there's healthy boundaries where you're not talking to your mom every single day. You know, there's
the fact.
There's boundaries.
Yeah. Yo, mom gotta check in to see if I'm doing okay. So that's
trust me, Jesse is alive and well.
Facts. Facts.
That's true.
I think she cares.
Yes.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Shout out to all the moms watching this.
Yeah.
Yes, moms care a lot. But okay, that's cool. Okay. You're gonna miss him when you guys finally part ways.
I don't think so though, because he probably gonna he has a bad habit of just like calling people on FaceTime.
Tell me about it, bro. Tell me about it.
Does he know I have my phone personalized? I've hacked my phone. I don't get FaceTime calls. If you want to talk to me, you text me or you call me with a phone call. That's how I know it's urgent. Yes. My friends from Jersey would just spam my phone with FaceTime. Yeah. I'm sorry, bro. My thing is on personalized. It's on personal mode. I'm not seeing the call. And if it's something urgent, you're gonna text me.
Yeah.
And it's something that if you were dying, you wouldn't be calling me in the first place.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's just
all right, guys. Sorry about the interruption once again.
Cameras mess up. There's nothing you can do.
Technical difficulties.
Just keep it pushing. We're just gonna keep it pushing.
We're back, so that's what matters. So, Diego, why don't you tell the people what's next in life for you? You know, you about to graduate Columbia. What's next for the engineer?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the corporate thing for a year or two. I'm going to Bank of America.
Nice.
They got me going to Charlotte, which I'm not too fond of. The life over there is slow, but like I mentioned to Jesse several times, you have to drive everywhere. I love having the convenience to just like you going downstairs, maybe walking like a block or two.
Get up, making a cheese
for food.
Yes.
Whatever, chopped cheese. In Charlotte, like you have to drive everywhere.
Yeah. You're gonna live in the city or like outside of it?
Downtown?
Like slightly outside, because downtown it's too loud, it's too expensive. And what's the point?
Yeah.
Like I like having that balance of like quiet life. Like Elmwood Park is like you get that best of both worlds with it. You can go to New York. It's gonna be a little harder, obviously, but you can go to New York if you want the city life. So I want to have that balance where like I could wake up in the morning, it's not an ambulance or a police car. Like that's also annoying as well. That's the perk of living in a walkable city with like a lot of activity, but also a downside is you get all the noise and noise traffic, all that stuff.
Exactly. So I think just moving forward, would you say that you're gonna have to get more adjusted to the quieter life, or would you say you already kind of have that being in Jersey anyway?
No, I definitely adjusted. Also,
okay.
I think my plan is to MacGyver something so I can come back. My manager is in New Jersey, so I can argue like, hey, it's easier for me to move to Jersey, closer to people, closer to the tri-state area. So just in case I want a promotion or like I want to work from the New York office, I want that chance.
Yes.
Like, people underestimate networking. Like
absolutely.
People that stay.
I would definitely say from my experience when I was at BNY, I'm very grateful if my manager's watching this. That he allowed me to work at the New York office like for a full week, and then there were 2 other weekends I worked there as well. But like for an entire week, I was at the New York City office because he kind of understood where I came from. That being in New York is a lot easier since I'm from here. You don't have to move to Pittsburgh. It's like you're kind of starting all over when you're moving at a different city, different state. So that's where I would say like, you know, one thing I noticed was while I was at the New York City office, there were definitely some people that were in similar boats. They were coming from, whether that was the Lake Mary office, some like other office, they're trying to break into that main gig at New York City in downtown Manhattan. And well, you know, sure enough, I checked my LinkedIn maybe about a month later when after everyone, you know, we all get our offer letters back. And there was this one girl I remember who she was working and living in Pittsburgh, and she actually got an offer to New York through all the networking. So by far, it definitely does help when you're in that environment, you're speaking to the right people, and you're explaining your situation in a way where you're not demanding, but you're also making them so that they're more understanding of like
you're building relationships. You're building relationships and personalities.
And that's what's the real important part of when you're in corporate is not just the technical skills you bring there, but the networking you get out of it.
In life, you just need to connect with people. That's what's gonna get you far.
Also, you can't be scared to ask for what you want.
Yeah, you know what I mean? No. And if they don't give you what you want, then you understand where your position is, and you gotta skedaddle and go somewhere else.
Exactly.
So that's just how life moves. And it's really about who you know, not what you know. Because what you don't know, you just learn it.
Exactly.
So but yeah, bro.
And then whenever you're kind of going through that tough time in life, and
okay, guys. So clearly, there's some technical difficulties with this. It's just not our day today, but it's okay.
Be on the podcast.
I guess they don't.
Big pharma, big corporation. They're trying to shut me down. I understand. I will leave the podcast.
Yeah. I guess it's talking too much. But no worries.
Hey, we had a good time though.
But bro, is there any way that anybody, they want to say what's up to Diego? Where can they find you?
If you know where to, what are people? I tell people like at the end of meetings, like you know where to find me. But Instagram, Diego WRL. If you need me, Diego Rivas Lazala on LinkedIn. Those are the main ways to reach out.
There you go. If you want to connect with my good buddy Diego over here and need words of wisdom, whether that's engineering or any words of wisdom of advice, you know where to find him.
Absolutely.
But I think that's pretty much all the time we have today.
Most definitely.
Diego, it's been a pleasure to have you on. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to see you later anyway since...
yeah, we're going to go eat later, bro.
Together.
We're going to eat some food, I guess. Unless you lock yourself in your room, I got put up.
Hey, we cook a good meal at home. But hey, this has been a pleasure. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure to have Diego on and share his story. And basically, if you guys have like any words of advice you guys ever need, you guys know where to find Diego. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully you guys stay around for some more episodes in the future where you can hear more stories like Diego's. So this is your boy Jesse signing off, and
Rafa as always, and again Diego here.
You already know. So defy all the odds.
Deuces.